3 years of work experience working in cybersecurity domain. And prior to that, I even worked as an Android developer for a startup company. So during my like working profile, I also got chance to work in a digital transformation initiative. I was leading a Google Cloud migration project where I came up with innovative ideas to, transfer our technical infrastructure to cloud. And I think that is where I started to think that, I have this interest for innovation, like enhancement of innovative technologies. And if I could get into this domain, I think I could do a better, I could do better in corporate world. That is why I decided to get into digital strategy consulting and digital product development. And that is where I thought MBA could be a necessary step, because I do have the technical skills, but I don't have the business acumen which is required for this role. Many skills such as decision making skills, then communication skills, communicating to technical and non-technical audiences both. So that is where I decided, MBA would be a better step for me now, as I'll be soon completing 4 years of work experience. And if I am able to make this switch to my career, I think it would be a good step moving forward in my journey. So yeah, there were like MBA was not the only option available to make the switch, but then I chose MBA as a career because like holistic skill set which you get through an MBA is necessary, because I don't want to go ahead in my career like when I'm like completed, when I'll be completing 10 to 15 years, and then have a realization that I should have done a management degree so that to climb up the ladder. So I felt that anyways I have this interest into techno managerial positions, and I like to lead teams and have done that in the past as well. So I felt that MBA is the right approach, because especially the STEM MBAs which are offered in USA, it's a combination of technical skills and managerial skills both. So I felt that if I'm able to get both the skills via one degree, then why not choose that instead of choosing any other degree? So yeah, obviously there was a lot of research involved. I spoke to the digital strategy consultants and product managers which I knew then, and they also just gave a heads up that if you want to get into strategy consulting, obviously MBA is the right choice. And even for the digital product management roles, you need an MBA. You need the skill set which an MBA gives you, and the networking opportunities which MBA would give. So yeah, I was speaking to a lot of people, and they guided me in the right direction that yeah, this could be your approach. And I was pretty sure from the start that I want to plan this in the US, because I think they only offer the STEM MBA programs. Yeah. So, yeah, when I actually saw the process online, like there are so many steps involved. There is also an interview, then you have to submit your essays. And I read so many blogs of people who have gotten admits into MBA. And I just saw that, you just have to make sure that your story is unique and is true, and actually states very clearly like what are your long-term goals and short-term goals, and it's very important for your essay to be precise. And that is where I realized that this is the most important thing to do. Like this is the first step. And at that time I just felt that I should hire a consultant, because doing the research in the right direction is something which I needed at that time for my essays. Somebody helping me, guiding me, and telling me like what to add, what not to add in my essays, how to create a story. And that is where I just saw the process, and I just felt that it's not going to be an easy one. I would be needing somebody's support during the whole process. So that is when I started looking out for consultants. I spoke to like various consultants. I wanted to hire someone who is currently doing great in India and is among the top consultants. So I was generally speaking to the top 5 to 10 consultants. I've spoke with a lot of consultants at that time. So actually, my job was quite hectic at that time. I recently switched to a new role, and I was like dealing with the pressure from my job and also my MBA journey. So during that time, I decided to go for GMAT, and I just studied the concepts, and I went for my first attempt of GMAT, and it didn't go well. I did not score well, and that is where I just felt that oh, this might be a problem for me applying to this year, maybe because the score which I got was definitely not enough to get into any top B schools in the US, and that is where I felt the need of consultant even more because. Then I also saw a few options of GMAT waiver, like few schools who were giving the GMAT waiver option, and I thought that maybe this is the only option available to me right now. I was obviously planning for a second attempt, but I was not sure what score I'll get because I was little demotivated with my first GMAT score, and that is where my search for consultancies like started. Even like I started now, it's high time to decide which one to choose and start with the process, because if I just keep delaying this process, then I think maybe I'll get late for the applications and I might not be able to catch the deadlines, and I might have to move my plan like again extend it for one more year, which I didn't want to do because I felt that now is the correct time, and if you delay things, sometimes maybe things don't work out. So I was like, I wanted to take that chance. So first of all, I'll just tell you the reason for selecting Crackverbal was because the two main reasons why I selected Crackverbal was because of the EMI options and the flexibility, which the EMI options, again, it's very important because you can't just like the consultancy fees, you cannot just give all the fees in one attempt. I believe that if you have this option, it really helps with students and even young professionals like me. And the other reason is because a Crackverbal was offering this flexibility. So for me, choosing this 8 schools was really important because as I told you, my GMAT score was not great, so it was really important for me to have options available. That if I don't get into the schools which I want to, like the top 2 to 3 schools which I actually aim for, if I'm not able to get into that, then it's very important to have some safe schools in the option. So my list of 8 schools was basically the schools which are like too ambitious for me, then the schools where I might get in an option, and then the safe schools where obviously I was like very definite or very sure that I'll get it. So my options were a mix of these three elements, and so I that was the main reason for choosing all these 8 schools, that I was in a really bad state and I didn't want to wait for one more year. So it's better to have more options when you are going ahead with the process, and the flexibility, that is what I needed, for my timelines to adjust. The flexibility that if I don't have a time to submit my applications, at least my consultant should be like very flexible to help me with the essays on urgent basis as well. And I think that's what Crackverbal did. I know Isha, who actually used to work very late, even like in midnight, to help me like get my essays done before the timelines, and I really appreciate that. So in terms of research, obviously I had a call with you, if you remember, like we had our first call and I told you that this is the position I'm in. And I was very nervous after our first call because you actually gave me a reality check that this might happen, and maybe a situation because the situation I was in wasn't any great. So that is when I started focusing more on my research, and then I believe my mentor, he actually helped me in the process. I think the addition which he bought was really important for me, because he actually guided me in the right direction on where to do the research, where not. He didn't rush on to writing essays, because he knew that I have less time. I only have 1 month to get done with the essays. I was like working 5 of the colleges with Crackverbal, and he knew that it's not going to be an easy way. But he never during our initial calls he never showed that rush. Instead, he took time to do the counseling for me. We like I think the first 3 calls were only about deciding the right path and where should I be focusing my research on, what are the important elements to add. Like we discussed my profile, and he told me 2 3 really good points which needs to be added. And yeah, so my initial 3 calls were totally based on, how should we go ahead with. I didn't even start writing the essays by then. It was the whole research driven discussion happened. And after that, once I got into, like, I came up with the first draft. I think after that things took pace. My first draft was really good. Indradip liked it. He didn't have to do many changes. He just did some initial changes, and that is when I think once you get done with the first school essay, then you get the confidence. You also get the flavor of what to add, what not to add, how to formulate your essays. And that is where I started increasing my pace. And at that time I was also done with my second attempt of GMAT. It was a little difficult for me to manage both the things for that 1 month of period wherein I was also prepping up for my second attempt, and then again like dealing with the application process, filling the applications, and writing the essays. So that was a difficult time, I agree, but I think that is what was needed for me to get past that. And I was able to like just go through that time with the help of my mentor, and we were able to successfully, like, I also scored a better score, I would say, than my first attempt on GMAT. And in terms of essays, I think me and my mentor, we did a really great job. And the other thing I really appreciate about him is that I used to get my essays reviewed within just 7 to 8 hours of time. If I was, even though we had the time differences, he was in Australia, I was in India, but then he still used to make sure that I get it the very next day. If I'm sending him at night, I used to have it reviewed by the next day. And I think that really helped. That punctuality really helped, even though he was also busy with his work and with many other students, which he might be helping. He was very punctual. And even the whole team at Crackverbal, I think that is your greatest strength, I believe, Sandeep, your teams, that you also are like really good in managing the stuff, and you are always available. Even if Crystal was not available some of the times, Karthik used to help me out, but I used to always get the response within just 3 to 4 hours of time. So that actually helped me. So yeah, that was actually when I was happy that I got interview calls from all the schools, but also it was very stressful because I almost had in some time for a few days, I think I had 2 interviews on the very same day. That also happened. So yeah, and these days schools, actually most of the schools are not just having one round of interviews, they also take video interviews as a round one, and then the round two is the actual in-person interview. So obviously it was difficult. But as I said, Crackverbal as a consultancy was very flexible, and I actually, obviously, I got all the materials. As soon as I told Crystal that I got the interview call, she shared with me all the interview prep materials, and I started prepping up. I also used GMAT Club and few resources which were available online, and I prepared accordingly. I knew the basic questions which were supposed to be asked, and I just prepared those questions well. And I just had a idea of if any other like ad hoc questions, if those will be asked, how should I be prepared to answer. And I just started prepping up for this for those interviews. I knew that even though I have 8 interviews, but then all the interviews might have the same set of questions, so it's better to just prepare well for one interview, and then obviously you get better as you keep on giving the interviews. And then I remember having a mock interview session with you, which went well. You also shared me a few tips which really helped me. And yeah, just being I think just being confident. And for me especially, it was not that difficult because I belong to a client facing role, and that is why I have this calls every day, and that is why I believe that interview wasn't a difficult task for me to get through, even though it was little hectic to have interviews every day. But then I guess with the right guidance and the right approach, I was able to crack all of them. And I think interview was the main reason why I got admits from all the schools, because even though there might be some weaknesses in my other aspects of application, the way I spoke and the way I explained them about my aim and how I'm going to pursue it, I think they really liked that confidence in me, and that was the main reason because of which I got admits from almost all the schools I applied to, even one with the GMAT waiver, which was a really ambitious school for me, that is Mendoza. I didn't expect that, but I think it's only because the questions which they asked me regarding the leadership approach, because of having a practical knowledge, I was able to explain that in a better way, and that was their value. I believe that when you are preparing for interview, it's very important to just have a look of what values does the school believe in, and then starting like if you include that in your answer, that really helps. So I did even this kind of detailed research about all the schools, that what they like, even who is the interviewer who is taking your interview. It's very important to have a background check of what he has background in, or else you can just speak to the current students, get some insight of how you should present yourself, and that really helps. And I think it helps just being confident, being you, not trying to be somebody else and not faking your answers, just being true to what you really want to achieve. And I think that really helps in your interview prep. First of all, I think it's very important to clarify if MBA is the degree they really want to do. It does it really support their aim? Because MBA is also good it's a huge financial investment which you're doing. So first, I think the first approach should be to actually evaluate and analyze if that's the right approach for their career goals, and not just doing it because it gives you good salary or high packages. I think that's a very wrong approach. It's very important to first understand why you want to get an MBA, and does it really help, that will it really help you, or are there any other options? I'll only tell them that first get it clear, and once you have the answer of why an MBA, then I think they should start with the process of like the whole application process. And I think that is very important first to understand why you are getting this degree. That really helps. I have chosen Wisconsin Madison, and the reason for choosing this school was because first of all, the curriculum, it fits really well into what I want to do. The MBA course the specialization which I have chosen is technology, strategy, and product management, which fits well to my career goals. And that was the main reason for choosing Wisconsin. And as I said, I had scholarships from other schools, even few more scholarships than Wisconsin. But the reason for choosing this is because um, I think the alums who are currently working, who are from Wisconsin, they are in the fields where I want to be. So I did that research of where the alums are working, because the kind of companies which come to Wisconsin, or maybe the network which Wisconsin alums and current student has, really helps you get land a good placement. So that was the main motivation behind choosing Wisconsin. And again, they also offered me a scholarship. They offered me so I also do a NGO work at WICCA, which is Indian Business Chamber for Women. So because of my NGO work, they offered me Women in Business Excellence Merit Award, which is the scholarship. So that really helps me, financially. And again, Wisconsin also has this rule that if I secure a TA position, my tuition fee will be waived off. And currently I have given interviews for TA, so I'm hoping to secure a position. So if that happens, then I'll be getting a stipend, as well as my whole tuition fee will be waived off. So that was the main reason why I decided to choose Wisconsin. I'm not relaxing. I have my job to do, and I've decided that I'll complete the project I'm currently working in, because I cannot just leave it in the middle. It will create a lot of issues for them. So I have decided that I'll continue my work, but along with that, I'm actually taking few courses, which even the Wisconsin, the one who took my interview, he actually advised me some courses to take, which might help me. Before when I go there, to have the sort of knowledge, as I'm trying to switch into the other domain. It's better to get some courses done, which will make my MBA journey easier. So my generally now, what I'll be doing is, along with my work, also the other processes are going on, the visa process and all. I'll took some like entry level courses into digital product development, digital product management, or maybe digital transformation. So I'm just taking those courses right now, and that is what I intend to do. That if I'm just done with the level 1 of studies, then I think it will just make my MBA journey a little easier, because it's gonna be a hectic ride for 2 years. So better to keep myself like prepared for it.
Wanted to ask you, thank you so much for making the time today, and we're very happy again. Congratulations first of all on all the admits, and good luck on the journey with Wisconsin, not only for your MBA but also later on in life as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sandeep, and I really appreciate the support which your team has given. I think I was in such a state wherein many consultants were even scared to hire me, or accept me as their student, because they were not sure if I'll be able to secure an admit. But the faith which you guys showed in me, it really helped me, and I'm thankful to you guys and your team. You're doing a great job, and I wish you all the best.